Welcome to December 2nd, 2020. It's a Wednesday, all the way halfway through the week, folks. And as we go through the second half of the week, there really isn't much to be worried about. Chilly weather will continue for a few days. It's going to be extremely quiet. The storm system that brought a little bit of snow to the region yesterday and some parts of the area today is going to be all gone by tomorrow. And we're going to go probably 6 or 7 days, folks, through almost no significant weather. Now, we're still expecting a pattern change late next week and beyond, and we'll give you a La Niña update. Here we are today. This is the upper level low that has formed. It came out of central Canada right here and has dropped south. It'll spin around New Mexico, the panhandles, and across southern Colorado. There's going to be a little bit of snow in this area today, but it's not going to amount to much, but a little bit of it. It will be a system that will actually split with one piece going this way, another piece going that way. And this is going to allow high pressure to build in from the Pacific Northwest and into the Rockies. This is the precipitation over the next 3.5 days, basically through Saturday. All of this moisture here happens today. This was some flurry activity that happened last night and early this morning. Down here is where we're going to see a little bit of action. But after that, look at the rest of the West. There's just nothing going on for the rest of the week and through the weekend. And you can see why. This is for Saturday afternoon. High pressure ridge building across the central Rockies. Here's what was left of that low, breaking into two pieces and moving away and headed this way. Although this guy is going to maybe meander down in Old Mexico into Southern California. But this guy here is just really not going to produce much weather. This right here is the dominant feature for the weekend and into early next week. Now here is the weather pattern change. We're going to go from high pressure over the Rockies and low pressure in the Gulf of Alaska. By the end of next week, that low pressure starts to come into the Pacific Northwest and Rockies. We start to see this low up here in the Gulf of Alaska, more of a retreat to the west, which allows that Gulf of Alaska ridge to build. And what that should do is set into motion storms coming over that ridge through the western United States like this. And again, we're going to continue to say around or after that 10th of December is when things start to get going again. And as we go all the way out to the 16th of December, you can see an eastern Pacific ridge getting us developed. This is that negative eastern Pacific oscillation pattern that we were talking about. We're also seeing a negative Arctic oscillation developing up here. So we're still expecting after the 10th of December, the weather to change. But folks, for a good 6 or 7 days here, there's just going to be nothing going on that will be major. It's going to be a very quiet stretch of December weather. Let's give you a quick La Niña update. You can see as of late Sunday, we had an extensive area of colder than average sea surface temperatures in the subtropical Pacific. We also have that warm pool up here in the southern end of the Gulf of Alaska. This is quite the warm pool, but if you notice around the edges here, it's cooling off a little bit. We'll have to watch that. But as long as that warm pool stays there, and we have this strong La Niña continuing, which we will. Notice all the green we're getting now. Now, you're starting to talk about sea surface temperatures that are more than 2 degrees Celsius colder than average. And that's a pretty significant La Niña. But with these cold water temperatures here, warm water temperatures here, we're still going to see during the course of the winter that ridge open the door to Canada, and maybe we'll have some real cold air coming in again. But at least here for the next week or so, we're not going to see that. As we take a look at the La Niña trends all the way into summer, now you got to take this with a grain of salt. What I want to show you here is that anything below this zero line means colder than average sea surface temperatures in the Pacific. Above that, it's warmer than normal. All these little lines you see here are all the different computer models. See all the different computer models that are trying to forecast those sea surface temperatures? Well, these are all these lines showing that basically all the way into March, April, and May here, the average of all the models is this green line right here. If you were to average all the computer models, that green line stays in La Niña territory all the way into June, July, and August. Now notice the sea surface temperatures do rise close to the neutral category, but they stay very cold. In fact, some of these models right here, this is getting to the quite strong La Nina range if you're down here as we get into January, February, and March. So with the solar minimum just happening and the historical tendency to have strong La Ninas at the ends of solar minimums, odds are that this La Nina is going to go deep into the first at least 4 to 5 months of 2021 and maybe longer than that. Thanks for listening and watching the Day Weather Podcast. Have a great Wednesday. Talk to you on Thursday.